Hey, fam. All right, I am coming to you with a whiteboard session. This is for Rap Owl. I owe you it. I figure this has a couple of different purposes. One, accountability for myself, and two, so that I can get my thoughts out of my head and somewhere that is replayable, and then also just being more comfortable talking in front of people while drawing on a whiteboard and explaining concepts that I'm just trying to show that I can build stuff or build stuff, be ready to build stuff in the near future. So, first thing, let's just talk about what Rap Owl is. So, Rap Owl is a service that allows you to use your microphone. So, you have a cell phone and that has a microphone in it. So, every cell phone that has a microphone in it uh, usually has some sort of a browser. Now, this modern browser, in this case, I'm going to be targeting Chrome, but whatever. Here we go. Browser. And this input field right here is where we will be capturing the audio, because the browser has an API to grab from the microphone that allows you to pump it in. Now, once we have the audio itself, that's when we need to do something with it. And in this case, we don't care about, we can't analyze something that we can't lexically understand from a tokenized perspective, breaking down your words into something that can be leveraged for something else. So in this case, immediately what we need to do is parse the audio into text. Now, phase one right now, you can't even see that, dude. Come on, get it together. So phase one of this is just being able to get the actual text out of what a person is saying and store that. But we also need the audio. So in this case, I'm just going to keep a little list over here of things to save. So we want text. That is my highest priority because at the end of the day, this is a songwriting application and not necessarily a it is what it is, right? Text is what I care about because that's what I can get some data from. I can train a model. I can do a lot of things, but I need the text first. If I don't have that text, I can't do crap with it. So in this case, the next thing that I want to make sure I grab is the audio, because for this to be a songwriting tool that doesn't record audio, then I don't really have a good point to make money. So in this case, we have the text, the audio, and then from that, I believe that there needs to be a way to save that in some sort of versioning. So we have that, but then we also need to make sure that we are saying versions previous. So in this case, having all of the different text available so that we can analyze where you started with the song and where you ended up with and finished, that will then allow myself, computer, whoever's looking at this data to be able to say this person wrote a song that they're happy with or they got bored with it. So that's going to be a further challenge to be able to analyze whether a person is actually bored or just a challenge. So in this case, once we actually get the audio and the text, those are the things we need to save. Then we need to interact with some other data stores. Right now, I'm going to set up some sort of, I have two options here. I have my MVP concept where I go out and I hit Rhymebrain directly because they don't have any cores headers that would prevent it. So to me, that says that this is an open API and just use it because this is an MVP. I'm not trying to make money off this right now. So we need to be able to go out to Rhymebrain. If I really care, email him and ask for hey, can I use your service? So next, beyond Rhymebrain, I need to make sure that I know that I am Google, because that is the service that I'm going to be to translate the audio into text. So those are the two services that I need to integrate with initially. So on top of this, because I need to make sure that I have some sort of user authentication that basically sits in between here. So for the API stuff, I'm going to use the Amazon Gateway, which gives me the ability to put a token with a user in its header, and then whenever they request the data. So in this case, let's see, some sort of token auth. So can we zoom out? Heck yeah, we can zoom out. All right. So now let's see what else. So we've got these different services that we need to integrate. Here's the data that we actually need to save, including the previous versions, because that's what's going to be rich. And then in this case, what we see here is, you know, like, we'll just do a single word for this demo right here is B. And then, you know, in this case, we would then want to list, you know, here's every rhyme, words, and then that's for a single word. All right, as part of this MVP, like having to scope it down as little as I can, because right now I don't know what actual interaction's going to need to take place to get a user to flow freely and have those words be associated with what is rhyming. So right now, I think being able to take like the tail word that we just matched and demonstrate that. So this will always be the last word. So let me grab one other color. See, this is where you start getting like this like Wolverine like hand thing going, shink. So this right here, last word. And this is just part of the MVP because like at this point, like I don't know how this is gonna work, and to try to speculate would just be a fool's errand and would run into trouble. So in this case, we're going to save all of these things for everybody, because a free user has one free song that's private that they can work on, because in this case you have to incentivize things, and free we're not even getting there to the aggregate stuff, we're getting to the basic MVP. All right, so I keep getting off track. I want to enhance features, got all this feature creep, okay, and that's not me, that ain't me. So we're almost at 8 minutes. I'm going to try to limit this to 10 minutes, just because if I can't explain a concept in 10 minutes, then I can't expect to build it quickly. So right here, rhyme words. In this case, I would also like to capture all of the rhyming words. Which means that individual nodes from here will have multiple nodes here. So in this case, I think this is actually a full circle if this was going to be like a relational database, but it's not. In this case, I think I'm just going to use a NoSQL database, because I am more comfortable just working with large objects that can be stored in that sense. And for the text and the rhyming words, that's going to work best. For the audio itself, that's going to have to go somewhere like an S3 bucket. So in this case, because I prefer like Amazon services, it's just I have to go through, let's see, AWS Gateway, and then Lambda function to S3 for this guy. So in this case, all this is going to be flowing through the AWS gateway. From the page, from the client's browser itself, we're going to be hitting this directly through some sort of DNS mapping, like your CNAME or whatever, all right? But basically this is going to flow into the gateway. The gateway is going to say, here you go to this Lambda function for this, otherwise go to this Lambda function. So if you're submitting audio, it's going to go ahead and make sure that that ends up in an S3 bucket with some sort of some sort of attribute that is associated with the user ID. So in this case, let's be like user ID is the attribute that we need to make sure that we have with that, and then .mp3 or something like that. I'm not sure how, see now, like how do you store an actual audio file in the in a backend service? That's where I guess I'd have to create the audio file. Once the audio file is finished over here, I need to translate into MP3 and then use some sort of file upload would be like the best way to do it. But my other option is going to be, so I could do like a file upload as part of like a post request, or I could do, a socket, use a web socket to be able to keep sending it in real time and then build it up in here in the Lambda function, generate my .mp3, and then stick it in the S3. So those are my two different options. I'm not sure if I can do an MP3 from the browser or not. Probably can, maybe can't. We're gonna say that audio is ruled out of this. That's gonna be the easiest way to get an MVP out, to actually try to figure out if this is a viable solution or if this is just silly and anybody could do this, all right? But definitely Bad Barbie, all right? Bad Barbie, I heard you just signed that fat check millionaire, 7 million or something like that. You come out here, you want to use this, all right? You'll be my star product. I'll do whatever you want to be able to get this thing and for you to promote Rap Owl, all right? You be using Rap Owl, you're gonna need a towel because your homie Mal is out there smelling some flowers. All right, I don't have rap skills, but hopefully with this it will help me. So we are basically going to get rid of audio and make that a nice to have, and say that this is a definite, and that the rhyming words is another definite, because without having those rhyming words to associate with it, it's hard to say how you can enhance something. And if you have to get those constantly, you're hitting this like external source to be able to say, here you go, rhyme brain, grab this. And I feel like if we could just store that as nodes that are easier to swap out, that's a little bit better than having to hit that every time that you want to rehash some of these words. So let's see. We've got that. We've got Google, which we're using to translate into text. Now, token authentication. All right, this is where like my knowledge in the front end lacks, is that I've been given backend services and said integrate like this. And usually it's just, passing in like some sort of a JSON-based token in the header, or nobody should be doing cookie authentication. That's horrible. You can see that on the network. You can see headers on the network too. But pretty much token-based authentication is what I know. So that's the other part that's going to make this, where if I want to have this a staged MVP, I would have to go ahead and admit that this would be a nice to have. That this user ID, so I guess that's where I would have to figure out, is it worth it to segment a user ID to have associated with it, or initially have a master user ID that everybody would be using? So I guess in this case, for an MVP, we would use a master user ID so that every file is going into the main one and anybody could use it in a free-for-all fashion, no user authentication. All right, that's not what I want for now, but it's what I need to be able to get something that at least works and to prove out that I'm not an idiot that can't do this. So this is Rap Owl, and that's pretty much what it takes to whiteboard out just an idea into a usable technical solution. If you have any comments or questions, please leave it down below. I definitely would love any feedback on just how you think this could work better, or if like my whiteboarding, anything, man. You know I like talking to people, all right? So let's see. Shink! Wolverine out!